Alice Oseman, it's hard for me to believe you didn't know what you were doing to us millennials and older Gen Z's gays. I mean, I do believe you, but you did call this webcomic Heartstopper, which makes me feel particularly targeted. I mean, I've watched so many scenes feeling like my palms were sweaty, and I think at one point my eye was twitching. And then there's all these other people saying that they couldn't care less about the show, or that they couldn't focus because of Tao's hair. There's still obviously gay kids struggling to come out nowadays. I'm not saying they're not, but what I'm saying is that when I was a teenager, Brangelina was a thing. Okay, it was tough times. My reality couldn't have been more different from Heartstopper. And listen, this is not my pity party. I'm okay with how my life went, even when it wasn't great, because it made me strong. And God knows I need to be strong now when I want to buy so many skincare products. And at the same time, I'm super concerned about the environmental impact this might have. No one was out in my school. I lived in a metropolitan city, and even then, coming out was much, much worse than having a very strong, personal, positive opinion on single-use plastics or hating double cleansing. I mean, I wasn't out, but I wasn't particularly in. One day we were in class and we had to write our names and their meanings on a piece of paper and then tape it to a wall. And my name means Men Liberator. And this kid from another class came over, and I'm pretty sure you can tell where this is going. They just scratched that and wrote Man Eater. Alice, can you write a book about being called a cannibal when your bullies are not actually talking about eating human flesh? Well, I'm guessing you've written several of those in a way, but what I'm trying to say is that Nick and Charlie's love story paints a perfect picture of what my ideal high school experience could have been. And this makes me extremely nostalgic and uncomfortable and angry, really. And this is super hard to admit, okay? Because I've been thinking that all these other gay millennials from Twitter should grow up and move on from the yearning of a perfect teenage years. And I wasn't any better than them. I was feeling the exact same thing. I was being a hypocrite, okay? And I had to face this when I had to explain to myself why my Instagram Explore page was filled with Kate Connor's raging fan accounts from 12-year-old girls. So, Alice, what did you put in my strawberry daiquiri? Kate Connor's hair? Which, by the way... God, I'm so jealous. Look at that. How cheesy is all this? Don't even answer that. Let's just say it's to compensate for the topic that we're about to dive into, okay? Let's just say that's the reason. I feel like this could be another whole video or movie or book, but let's just make a 3-minute video because that's what we do now. Looking back, it's quite weird that I did conversion therapy online. Like, there's people getting PhDs online, and then there I was, 14 years old, trying to get my straight diploma, and I failed miserably. Well, I was scammed, actually. I did it for quite a few years, from when I was 14 to 20. I kept quitting and coming back because, well, it wasn't working, obviously. And I remember someone telling me, oh, it's never gonna go away. It'll be like a stone in your shoe. And little did they know, I was the stone. I am the gay pebble. The fact that there's people who believe that conversion therapy works is just beyond me. First of all, look at me. Clear proof that it doesn't. I did it for many years and I'm not even bi. And second of all, if you're saying that conversion therapy worked for you, can I have your phone, please? Just 2 minutes. Just to have a quick look. Just a quick look. I think my favorite scene from season 2 from Heartstopper is when Tao and Nick are talking about Charlie. And Tao asks, you know how bad the bullying was, don't you? And Nick says, Charlie never talked to me about it. And Tao, who's one of Charlie's best friends, surprisingly says, me neither. And this, for once, does represent the loneliness I felt while doing conversion therapy during high school. I had tons of friends, but nobody knew that I was on my computer every Friday for hours reading super long documents, answering all these questions about my mental health, and making all these essays about how my daddy issues were causing my obsession with my super boring straight friends and Darren Kress, or causing my same-sex attraction, or SSA as I called it, as if it was a terminal illness. Which, I recently tried to enter the website again because I basically have like a very long, detailed journal of what my life was back then, and I was curious to see what was going through my mind, and thankfully they shut it down. I did find an email from when I was starting to be done with all this, and I'm saying just how angry I was, because they were saying how to heal you needed to have this perfect self-esteem, and at the same time they were making me reject everything I like doing, just like hanging out with the girls in my class. And how am I supposed to be okay with myself if everything I like doing is wrong? Also, for those thinking that Charlie had it worse than me because of all the bullying, well, first of all, as I said, this is not my pity party. I'm not going to talk about all the bullying that I went through. But also, this is about Nick and Charlie's love story. They were in Paris eating croissants and kissing while I was doing conversion therapy. Is that clear enough? That's the point. That's what I'm talking about. That's what makes me so jealous and so obsessed with the show. Something that amazes me is that even after coming out, I couldn't tell people about the conversion therapy. The shame I felt was unfathomable. First, I was ashamed of being gay, and then I was ashamed about being ashamed of being gay. This is just an unhealthy amount of shame to be processed by the body of a twink. As I said in the beginning, I'm totally fine now. I've been fine since coming out 11 years ago, but Heartstopper has definitely made me wish that my life would have been a bit more like Nick and Charlie's and a bit less like the Blair Witch Project. So, Alice, you said that you wrote the comic having teenagers in mind, so I'm guessing it's just a happy accident that Heartstopper has been like the sweetest flesh for my little gay millennial cannibal taste buds. I look so weird from this angle. I just thought of letting you know that my t-shirt says, what does it say? Who has magic doesn't need tricks. It has nothing to do with the concept of the video, but I really love it. And she really said that, and she left no crumbs. And yes, this is the part where I say, please like the video and subscribe and leave a comment. Anyway, thanks for watching. And really, just go. Is this down? Up? I don't know. Thanks for watching. Bye.